I'm the mom of a deaf child. He's 8.5, and he wears cochlear implants. He was born with a mild hearing loss that progressed to severe profound, and got his cochlear implants when he was 4.5. When we first found out in the hospital that he had referred on the newborn hearing screening, we wanted him to speak. That's been our main goal. So we got him hearing aids. He got his first set of hearing aids at 3 months old. And we wanted him to also learn sign language because we knew that he would be a part of the deaf community. So that was something that we started working on with an ASL family trainer, just so that we could learn that. He didn't end up wanting anything to do with sign language, so we ended up using more of the listening and spoken language approach with his hearing loss. When he started kindergarten on a fluke, he ended up with a teacher of the deaf that cues. His teacher of the deaf was sick, so he sat in on a class with a little boy that uses cued speech, and he ended up being a rock star cuer, and it has completely changed his life. It's helped with his reading. He's at the end of 2nd grade and he's reading on the end of a 3rd grade reading level. Cued speech helps with phonics and things like that. So it's really helped him to thrive at school, and he does use it in school and has a cued speech transliterator in the classroom with him. His teacher uses an RM microphone and speaks through that with him in this classroom. And then his cued speech transliterator is there just to kind of fill in the blanks and anything that needs to be, redone, just to help him along throughout the day. But for the most part, he's using listening and spoken language in school. When he was first, on the playground and stuff like that, when he was 4 or 5, he wouldn't talk to any kids, he wouldn't do anything. And now he's the first one out there saying, come play with me, like let's play hide and seek, and using his language to be able to communicate with his peers, which is huge because at one point we weren't sure if that was ever going to happen. So it's nice to see him out there and speaking. He can speak with anyone, and you wouldn't even know that he did have the deficit at some point and that he's deaf. So he's thriving with it. Raiden does not enjoy wearing his cochlear implants when he wakes up in the morning. Honestly, I can't say that I blame him. If I could kind of do a slow start to the noise and the volume in the morning, I would too. But he wakes up, if it's a school day, he doesn't go too long without them, but on the weekends, he doesn't usually wear them in the morning. So we use sign just to get through the morning, just to kind of make sure he gets dressed and brush your teeth and all that stuff. And we use, once he gets going, sign-supported speech at the house just to kind of make sure that he's getting the point across. And so that is kind of how we start our day. And then once he has his implants on and he's good to go, we will speak for the most part. And then once he gets to school, he uses the spoken language and cued speech because he has the cued speech transliterator in the classroom. And then right now he is doing baseball. So we're doing the listening and spoken language with that, but his coach is wearing, it's called a mini mic. And so it Bluetooths to his cochlear implants. So his coach's voice can go right to his implants, and that's helping a lot with that. And then at night with bath time, he doesn't wear his implants. So we do sign again. And so he kind of does it all throughout the day. We've had speech therapy through our services, through ECFS and CDS and everything since day one. And then when we started along on the process, we got involved with Maine Hands and Voices. So that's been one of our biggest supports with everything, all of the different language modalities. So no matter what we choose, they've been helpful along the way with that. I know a lot of people, they're like, I can do my research, I can do all this, but definitely use the supports that are offered. They're there to help you. They're there to guide you along the way. This can kind of be like jumping in the deep end when you first get going. So it's fun and easier if you have someone that's already been through it, whether it be another parent or professional that can help you through that.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Seal. I am a deaf individual, born deaf, and my husband is also deaf. And together we have 4 deaf children. When my mother discovered that I was deaf, they provided options for communication. And she could use cued speech English or she could use American Sign Language. And she was told to just choose one. And that puzzled my mother. And she said, no, we don't want to just choose one. We would like to use both American Sign Language and cued speech. And so I was the first deaf person in Maine to use both languages, both modalities at the same time. And so having that knowledge, and when I had children myself and discovering that they were deaf, I already knew what options were available in terms of communication and modality. And so we utilized a teacher of the deaf, and they often will share information, resources, all of the different modalities. And after considering them all again, we decided to use cued speech and American Sign Language for our children. Now, cued speech, English is my first language, and American Sign Language is my husband's first language. And we wanted to have the exposure of both modalities with our children. And both of us had really learned very well through both modalities. And we felt that our children should use both, knowing that cued speech would give them some access to literacy, to English reading and writing, and they could interact with those who they needed to interact with. Cued speech English is very helpful too for literacy skills. And that was something that really worked well for me in school. Cued speech will show you all the phonemes, all of the different sounds of the English language, such as cat. There's the C, the A, and the T sounds. And in cued speech, you can show all of those phonemes. The American Sign Language sign doesn't show all of the sounds. And so it just looks like whiskers if you use the ASL sign for cat. And so that's a good example, just being able to show that difference for my children. Also idioms, that's something that's used within the English language often, such as the idiom, it's raining cats and dogs. If you look out the window, is it really raining true cats and actual dogs? No. So how do you explain that to a child using cued speech and showing that phrase? It helps them to understand that it's really not the cats and dogs that are falling from the sky, but instead it has a different meaning. In an American Sign Language, you can show that in a very visual way. And so I felt like it was important to show both modalities and expose our children to both modalities. American Sign Language is a beautiful language with grammatical features and wonderful classifiers. And with cued speech, we felt that was a wonderful way for our children to access the English language because it's showing in a visual way a sound-based system. And with deaf children who don't have access, who can't hear, that's a very important piece to their learning as well. So being able to have that visual representation and wanting to support our children using both modalities.